Okay, let's talk about reflections. Basically, you got two types of reflections that you can have. You can have a graph that is reflected across the y-axis, or you can have a graph that is reflected across the x-axis. We can have a combination of both. Or none at all. So let's take a look. Alright, so basically if you have a reflection on the x-axis, your y values are the ones that are changing. Because the y values are changing, notice your negative is going to happen outside the equation. If you're reflecting across the y-axis, it is your x values that are changing. So because it's affecting the x's, the change happens inside the equation. You'll see this some, especially with square root functions, but most of your equations it'll probably stay normal. So let's take a look how this works. We have x squared, and we're going to rewrite it so we have a possible reflection. We're not going to look at the main part of the graph. I just want to focus in on the reflection aspect of it. Notice A, it's really just a vertical shift. So for A, we would end up having x squared, so f of x equals x squared, and it really just went down 1, so minus 1. For B, if we look at the axis of symmetry, we went left 1 and up 1, but we also reflected down, so we had our y values change. So because our y values are changing, the reflection will happen, we have the reflection on the x-axis, so the reflection is going to happen on the outside. So for B, we would have f of x equals, now since we went left 1, I'm going to have x plus 1 squared, and since we went up 1, there's the vertical shift, but because of the reflection part, we're going to have a negative x plus 1 squared. So notice the negative is happening outside the equation. C, you don't have a reflection, it's normal. If you take a look at D, take that back, C is not normal because we do have a reflection, so let's take a look at that. It's a horrible axis line. So our axis line looks like it goes through 2, and we do have a reflection. So when I look at C, it looks like we went right 2. So let's focus to take care of that. So we have x minus 2 squared. Looks like we also went up 6. And we do have a reflection where the y values they change. So we do have a negative. For the next part, let's take a look, and it's just really identifying what the transformations are. And I'm going to pause this here, and you can pause it yourself, and then here in a minute I'll put the answers up where you can check it. So for A, you should have got reflected across the x-axis, because notice the negative is happening outside. For B, the negative is happening inside the square root function, so that would be a reflection across the y-axis. And for C, order does matter here, because if you're going to plug a value in, think about what operations you have to take care of first. You'd have to take care of the plus 2 first, which means the graph is going to go left 2, and then the negative would take place. Then you're going to have the reflection across the x-axis. So when you're trying to decide which transformation you do first, think about plugging in a value for x, and whatever operation you would take care of first, there's your transformation.